Why do you think someone should choose history?
I think someone should choose history because of the mainly the coursework element. It's really important for people to have not just essay-based writing and lots of exam-based, but to have coursework as well. I feel like it really breaks up the course, and it really helps mediate students' enjoyment of the subject. I think it's a lot more enjoyable when you've got something to do at home as opposed to just exams after exams after exams. But how would the subject be useful to you?
I think history is a really useful subject if you're just genuinely interested in humanities, whether you want to do it at uni or not. Personally, I want to do history at uni, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a history teacher or directly go into something to do with history. I think history is a really good general subject, and a lot of people that do history at either A-level or university can go into things such as the civil service, law, they can become paralegals, or if they want to, they can become teachers and do things directly related to history. So I think it's a really good all-round subject that builds up a lot of skills such as analytical skills and essay writing techniques, which are really useful in the future.
I think it's also useful because it gets your essay-based writing up to a really high standard. So if you do something like English as well, or something like that, in other humanities, your essay writing will be like really massively good by the end of it, especially with the support of the teachers.
What surprised you about the subject?
I feel like what surprised me the most is how similar but different A-level is compared to GCSE. I think it's a very good continuation, but it also then allows you to have a lot more creativeness when it comes to your essay writing. So it's very much more individual as opposed to robotic and following a structure. You sort of have a structure, but then you get to be an individual about your writing, and also it takes a lot more from actual historical pieces of writing as opposed to just being told from a textbook, which I think is really like fun and useful and something that's quite new. Which allows you to do more with your writing as opposed to just writing like a robot a bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say it's definitely different to GCSE in the fact, like Will said, you can be much more individualistic with your writing. You don't have to follow such a strict template. You kind of get given how you're meant to write things, and then you take it from there and you develop your own like unique structure and your own phrases of how you write things.
So what would you tell your Year 11 self if you...
I would tell my Year 11 self, personally I worked really hard during my GCSEs, but I didn't, at the end of the day, get the result that I wanted. I only just got into history at NSB. But I would say to my old self that I wouldn't let that get me down, because now here with all the teachers and the support that I need, I've done really, really well. I'm getting some of the top grades in my classes, and I feel really happy with how I'm coming along. I love the subjects that we do in history here. I know coming from a different school, obviously, my old school didn't do kind of things I was so interested in, but I feel like the topics that we do here at History at NSB are really interesting and they're really engaging, and I really enjoy them, especially with the coursework aspect. I did the Great Leap Forward as well. It was really fun to do. We got a lot of support from our teachers, and it was a really good chance to practice something that you do at uni, because the kind of essay that we did for our coursework is something very similar to what you do at university. So it was a really good chance to learn how to do that. And I would just tell myself, don't worry about it, forget about the GCSE grade and really focus on this A-level, because it's a lot different and you're likely to do a lot better now. If you weren't feeling so great about GCSEs, don't let that put you off.
I think I'd say to myself that it's not as hard as I thought it would be. It's not a massive jump all at once. It's sort of a building process, and your teachers will really support you and be amazing at delivering the subject, which hopefully you love if you're going to pick history.